Hello, my name is Morgan Solden, and this is Module 8, Moral Compass. We were asked to review different resources about moral compasses. The first one was titled Moral Compass, and it was a video. And during this video, it talked about how a moral compass as a leader keeps you on track with your ethical principles. When you're a leader, you must have integrity and your staff must be willing to trust you. And a moral compass helps you do that. When you have a moral compass as a leader, it's important to never break that trust and be consistent with that moral compass. Leaders must create a compass that will be, that will be ethical and helps them make good decisions. Maybe, I'm so sorry. The second video that I watched was having a moral compass. And this video was Bucaro, I hope I'm saying that right, says that a compass sets the direction for leaders' decision making. He says that you should always put people first when making a decision. However, a moral compass is kind of like a line in the sand. And that really brought to mind and made what a moral compass is a little clearer in my mind. It's a line in the sand that you don't cross. That line in the sand gives you anything above that line is negotiable, and anything below that line is a non-negotiable, and you will not cross. And as a leader, you need to have a line of determination of whether you're going to cross it or you're not going to cross it. The article I read called Encountering the Stranger, Hannah Arnett and the Shortcomings of Empathy as a Moral Compass. This was very eye-opening to me. And during this article, they determined that there is a close relationship between empathy and moral action. And empathy is a phrase that's hard to describe because it's different for every person. It's different for me. It's different for people in my family. It's different for everyone. Empathy is how your feelings upon something, and feelings are different for everyone. And when making a decision, it's important to judge what is right and wrong and not solely rely on your feelings. And a moral decision is involved by making a decision that's empathetic, but it's also ethical. So it's kind of having the balance of what's ethical and what's empathetic. And kind of as a leader, your job is to kind of have a balance of those two things. Concepts unwrapped moral emotions. So moral emotions are the feelings and intuitions that play a role in our ethical decisions. This video, they talked about how most of the time when we make a moral decision, our judgment is already made when that decision is brought to us. And most decisions are one that's already been made because of our emotions. And sometimes we leave out the logic portion. And our self-conscious emotions, things that we don't even think about, are guilt and shame and embarrassment. And those motivate people to make decisions. Some others, condemning emotions like contempt, anger, and disgust, they motivate people to make decisions that might not be the ethical one. And then praising emotions also make people make decisions. And praising emotions could be gratitude, moral, or moral elevation. And they encourage you to make the decision. Maybe that decision's not what's best, but other society impact or society weight makes you make those decisions. And emotions usually point people to do the right thing, according to McComb's School of Business. However, it's important to have a balance, again, when following your emotions. And you must ensure that the judgment you made or the decision you made is calculated in both ethical reasoning and your morals and your emotions. All of that needs to be on the same equal playing field. So the next three articles, the first one is Set Your Moral Compass North, true north. When creating a moral compass, you should always head true north. North is, I think of it as north is the good and south is the bad. You want to be on the true north because that means you're on the right path to making decisions, according to myths. When making a decision, your mind should be making it with integrity. So your decision should be made based upon your integrity. And you should be thinking, does the act I'm making impact others in the best way possible? The second article is the search for a moral compass and a new social contract in the context of citizenship education. And this was really interesting because it was kind of leaning you against what the other articles said. Johannes van der Walt explains that your compass of morals should be developed and aligned in intent to include others' moral beliefs and backgrounds. Society is a mixture of all different peoples with different backgrounds. And he used several different examples of migrants coming to, I think he used South Africa, migrants coming together. And he said those people need to come together with the people who are already in South Africa and make a moral citizenship education to teach to students. Now, and describes that it would be hard to change a society and increase these frameworks. And when you teach it like that, one downfall that I personally thought of when I was reading the article is I teach kindergarten. And so if I was to teach that in kindergarten, by the time my students get out into by the time I was to teach the curriculum, because they start in kindergarten, by the time my students get out of school, it would have been 15 years, and it would take a long time to see if that was effective. And the last article I read was Orchards, and it was the moral compass. And according to Orchards, it would be very hard to form a universal compass for everyone to follow. Orchard says this is hard because not everyone has the same background and religious beliefs. People must decide for themselves what's right and wrong. My moral compass might not be the same as another teacher's moral compass. It's your background that helps you decide what your moral compass is. And individuals need to take into account when making decisions how their personal ideologies and their backgrounds affect the decision they made to make sure it's equal for all parties. So the last two resources is Our Moral Compass by Wood. And Wood states in this article, a moral compass is a set of personal values that guides a person's decision making. However, several leaders fail to follow their moral compass when making decisions. Some leaders, and then he gives 3 reasons why leaders do not follow their moral compass. And the first one is the leader believes that the ethical choice that they are making or the ethical choice that they could make would be difficult, and it would have side effects that would make their job harder. The second reason why a leader might not make the ethical choice is that they believe that the ethical decision, the one that they should probably pick, is not what the organization wants. They have to go with what the organization wants and not the ethical choice. And the last one, according to Wood, is that they violate their values and benefit because they think that there's a benefit that they selfishly can get from making that decision. And it's a job, as a leader, it's your job to analyze those consequences and make the decision that's best for your entire school community. And I think that was the key thing. When you're a leader, you make decisions for your entire school community. And you need to analyze all of the consequences of the decision that you're making. So what is a moral compass and why do you need one? This is the last article. A moral compass provides you the decisions with ethical clarity and understanding, according to Zitzman. Having a moral compass allows for a leader to have grounds in their identity, protect the greater good, increase the leader's self-confidence. The leader can be a good role model, and the leader can foster healthy relationships, according to Zitzman. If a leader has a moral compass, that moral compass helps provide them a foundational guide to support the decisions they're making. Using a moral compass consistently will be extremely difficult and challenging because you won't make the easy decisions. However, the rewards of being consistent with that moral compass will outweigh the challenges that you will face. So here's my moral compass. My true north is integrity, because I believe that following integrity is key to being a leader in any situation. Then we go down, and it's compassion for how others are feeling, compassion for the situations, and then respect. You have to be respectful of others. You have to understand where they're coming from when you're making a decision, and you have to be respectful and identify why you made that choice as a leader. Then my west is being fair, understanding that I need to be fair when I'm a leader, when I make a decision. And then my east is responsibility. I have to have the responsibility to say, I made that decision. I'm willing to make that decision. It's my values. It was what I made the decision of, and it's the decision I made. And I need to be consistent in the north, west, and east. And then my south is selfishness. As a leader, I should never make a decision that is just for myself or only betters myself. I need to think of my school community when I make decisions. Here are my references, and then my addendum. So this assignment allowed for me to understand what a moral compass is. This assignment also helped me determine why it is important to have a guide for yourself. A moral compass provides a leader a set of guidelines in the way they will act and the way they make decisions. This assignment allowed for me to decide my compass of making decisions. So my relevancy statement. The assignment improved my understandings of the benefits of having an ethical guide in the way that I will conduct myself. Creating a moral compass provided me with a guide of the way I wish to conduct myself when making morally complex decisions. I will use my compass to ensure that I am making a decision that is ethical and right for all parties. This assignment also allowed for me the opportunity to reflect upon the decisions I've made in the past and decide if those were good decisions. And I used my moral compass. And I think that was something that was really impactful, is thinking about decisions that I've made, whether in my classroom or personally, and did they reflect the moral compass that I've decided. Personal reflection. This assignment increased my understanding of moral decision making. It allowed for me to reflect upon my values when making professional or personal decisions. This assignment will improve my leadership skills by providing me a marker in the best way to make a decision. And as a future leader, I will need to make lots of decisions, and it's my job to ensure that they follow the moral compass I've set for myself, and the decisions I make are good for all of the stakeholders that are involved in that decision. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my presentation today.